what we're trying to do is create something different on Great Expectations.
Okay.
We've got 2 anchors, two females, Neb on a Monday, Uveka on a Tuesday.
Yes.
But it's totally weird. But what we think we need is a man, and the
Okay.
reason why is we need to shake it up.
All right.
Since we've started Great Expectations like 7 years ago, we've had men writing to us saying, why don't you include men in the motherhood experience? We are also parents, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And we've
They actually
kept
got
going,
quite
yeah,
nasty.
it's just for mums, it's just, it's a biological thing. But actually, people are not interested.
Yeah.
They want to see men involved.
Right.
Because we have a lot of
And
stay-at-home dads as well.
We have a lot of stay-at-home
Yeah.
dads.
Well, that's my goal in life.
to be a stay-at-home dad.
Be a stay-at-home dad.
A sugar mommy.
That's my job.
Is
That's
that when
my
you're closing
future.
up to me? I won't
That-
have any more children. You know?
That's my gig one day.
So because we've got 2 anchors, we thought of possibly adding a third.
All right.
And adding a male.
Okay.
Not every week, because I know you're very committed upstairs, but just
Sure.
possibly as a roving reporter, possibly to come in, especially like
Do
when we've got
inserts
shows.
for us as well?
To do inserts
Yeah.
when it involves like a mum and dad's experience. And
Yeah.
I know you're not a
Yeah.
dad,
No,
but that's
sure.
actually an advantage, because what we find is that once you're in the motherhood or fatherhood thing, you go through your own experience, and we want to actually basically broaden the ambit of Great Expectations, make it about parenting,
Right.
and the philosophy behind it is it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
So you might not
It's
be a
parenting
parent.
versus just motherhood.
Yeah.
For
And
example,
use your
if that-
single
if that's-
friends to babysit when you can.
Yeah.
If that sounds, don't ever let me babysit your kids. I'll hand them back with a bowl of
Come back, and they
M&Ms.
drink coffee. They love coffee.
Oh, well, there you go. That's
And
perfect.
also, what Sally's probably about to tell you next is I'm having my life's a bit hectic at the moment.
Okay.
So house hunting and personal and all of that.
Sure.
So yeah.
And I mean,
I might need some days
fine.
time off and just do my mornings and leave. So
As far as the commitments upstairs, I mean, you know what they are. I mean, I normally hear about 12, 1, but
Yeah.
before that, I'm open.
are you sure?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't foresee any issues.
Right.
I don't know if you do, but I mean, basically, when Uveka joined us, Pat came down, I was producing her, and he said,
Yeah.
I want to speak to Uveka, I want her to join our team.
Right.
She accepted the offer based on that she could still do Great
Yeah.
Expectations.
So they don't have
So
a
for
problem
me,
with that.
Sure.
the precedent has been set, and it's... And
just
it's
don't
there.
take your shirt off and stuff on air. Then
Well,
might
Well, then,
Oh, no, then I'm- no,
basically,
then
then
I'm not.
viewership,
I was
is
not
going
allowed
to
to- I was not allowed
skyrocket,
to
and I'll
pole
be out of a
dance and stuff
job.
on the stage.
I mean, that's the other crazy thing, is that they also like to hear from a guy. Whenever we've got men,
Yeah, I
especially
know.
good-looking men,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry, Tennis was right.
And
you're a
young.
Oh,
stud.
Shelley, very sweet. She can stay.
Who said that?
Oh, no,
He said
not
he's
this rubbish.
total stud.
Not this rubbish.
Workhorse and stud. It's all quite
Workhorse.
raunchy. But anyway.
There's a movie, Workhorse Stud.
Yeah, no, this
I see a porno in there somewhere. and
Okay,
This is just
so we just wanted.
Yeah.
I know that you're going, what is this all about? But I was wondering if you would just do a quick screen test. Also,
Got your
and I
script,
have to
so-
just give you the background. My business partner Sharon, who couldn't be here today,
Right.
she's not 100% convinced. And I said to her, just let me put him on air.
She said people might think you're too newsy.
Too newsy. I said Uveka was newsy background, but
They-
she made that
they changed
transition.
me.
Okay.
And it's about having that conversational thing.
Yeah.
It's moving into a more conversational thing.
Sure.
So we
I
thought
think you'll enjoy it. Your personality will.
It'll be a laugh.
No, it's not. Hello, it's not always a laugh.
ooh,
Oh, I'm sure.
some of it can be a
Serious
bit,
business here.
there are.
Fun moments.
Yeah.
But so basically, what we thought is we've got a little intro that you can read. Is he on cam 2? I don't
One.
think he needs a read through. Cam
It's very-
1
it's very
because
easy.
he's.
No, we don't need to
Do
read.
you
No,
want
it's
to
a
read? It's
no.
just like basically an intro of what
No.
it's all about, and then throw to me and Uveka, and then just start asking us about birth and recovery. and
Our
that sort of thing.
experiences having kids and all
Because
that.
what I want to capture is a total novice, someone who's not been through it, who doesn't have a partner who's been through it, who's going, okay, tell me about it, because I think that might grab a wider audience. Are you prepared
Perfect.
to give it a whirl?
And there's always
Oh, you're
cake.
such a sweetheart.
And there's?
Always cake.
There's always
Cake.
cake.
And you get
In
to
fact,
do how
I'm
to
doing
shows
nearly
that are
enough
eating.
training to be
Great
eating cake, I can assure
Expectations
you.
was built on croissants.
Yeah.
And then we all had to join Weight Watchers
You
together.
should have started with that. You should have started with that. Yeah,
And-
sure.
And the
Awesome.
poor makes the best coffee.
Okay. So
Where am I going? Cam 1 to Cam 2? 2 to 1. Cam.
fantastic. So we'll play the theme tune
All right.
and then cue. Okay, perfect.
Oh, just we are mummies, eh?
Well, we just gave sharing
Yeah,
our birth
sharing our
experiences.
birth.
So what, there's a theme tune first. Sorry, just give me like
Yes,
a
there'll be a
breakdown.
sig-
Still? Oh, do you have an earpiece?
No, I don't know comms at all. I've got one
Okay.
with me, but I don't.
Where's it?
Okay,
My
can we
bag.
get floor sound so he can hear the theme tune, and then will you give him a visual cue? Okay.
He doesn't need
So I'll start on
anybody
two,
to
that's
feed
fine.
him into his
Perfect.
ear or anything, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't quite sure if I should bring an earpiece.
No,
I honestly
sorry.
thought it was about the boot camp thing. Because Seamus
What boot camp?
No, but actually that's an excellent idea.
Seamus dragged me
Let's
into
chat
that a
about
little while ago.
afterwards. Yeah,
Okay.
no, me too. Um,
Hi mums, welcome to today's edition of Great Expectations. Great to be with you. I'm Gareth Edwards. Now I know I'm not nearly as nice to look at as eNCA or level, but men play an important role in rearing children these days, of course, and that's why it's only appropriate to introduce a man's perspective to Great Expectations. I look forward to exploring parenthood with all of you. Now, during pregnancy, moms often focus all their attention on birth, of course, so much so that they forget to do adequate research on what actually happens immediately post-birth. No wonder mums can be overwhelmed by the physical changes going on in their own body, hormonal fluctuations, painful stitches in sensitive places, of course, the well-known constipation, hemorrhoids even, incontinence, cracked nipples from breastfeeding, and a 6-week-long period. All on top of that, there's no sleep, of course. But don't worry, mums, knowing about these issues in advance makes them much easier to bear, if you'll excuse the pun. Now, here to chat to me about their birthing experiences, well-known, Sally Baudet, and of course, a colleague of mine at eNCA, Yuveka Rangappa. Ladies, good to have you with us. Now,
Gareth.
I have to admit, I'm on the wrong side of 30. I'm closer to 40 than I am 20 now. And the thought of parenthood, I'm using the word parenthood, because I don't have to go through all of this, yet I'm going to be part of this experience. Sally, I mean, you're a professional mum now, one would say. How difficult was it?
You know, I was planning for natural birth because I felt it was the right thing to do. But in my mind, I was going to have the epidural in the parking lot. I was in labour for, I think, 16 hours. The baby did not descend. We then thought the baby had gone into distress. They prepped me for surgery and they had to cut everything out. I mean, my husband he said to me afterwards that there were internal organs taken out of my body and then this baby pulled out. And so first of all, if you don't end up doing natural, it's a major operation. They stitch you up. And then the fun begins. After 3 days, your breasts swell to the size of melons. They are rock hard and very painful. And then you have to attach a baby to this breast. And
Get it to drink all of that out of you.
painful.
Yeah.
It's worth it. I don't want to scare you completely.
Well, this is what I was about to say. Hang on a moment.
Well, at least your waters won't break. You know what happened to me?
My waters won't break.
I was working here in this building when my first girl was my child was born. It was about 5 o'clock in the morning, as one does. You go to the bathroom to have a wee. It was winter, and I went to the bathroom, made my wee, and I jumped back into bed, and I realized I was still weeing.
Oh.
So I was like, "What's going on here? I just had a wee." So I said to Sean and my husband, I was like, "I think I'm still peeing. I don't know what's going on." So I realized, and I phoned Ragini Archery upstairs, and I said to her, "I'm still peeing in bed. Does it mean that my water's broken?" She's like, yeah.
Is there any way you can be prepared for this? Does anyone sit you down? Is there literature? And we have the world of Google at our fingertips. Can anything prepare you for this, Sally?
There's an enormous leap of faith. I mean, I did a lot of reading. You were saying that you didn't like the baby
I didn't
books
read
at
a
all.
single
So
book,
I
no.
knew about, I went to the breastfeeding class. I learned how to latch the baby onto the nipple. And if it's not, it can break the nipple open and it cracks and suppurates. And I learned all about mastitis and all these terrible
And it
things.
leaks, and it's, no, it's not
And I
pleasant.
knew theoretically that I was going to bleed for 6 weeks after giving birth. I knew all that. But when it actually happens to your body, there are two things. You can either resist it or you can go with it.
Right. So,
And I went with it.
And I mean, imagine having all of this, which my husband said they literally tore me like this.
Oh my God.
They cut me first, and then with the scalpel, and then he saw the doctor tear me. Like that's how they get through the layers of whatever. Well, I had fat as well at the time.
Yeah, no,
so
didn't
they
we
get
all?
through the layers of that, and then they tear you. And imagine how all of that is stitched up. And I still have that little pouch as much as I'm. And they stitch you up. And imagine now in the middle of winter, as we are now, because my child was born on the 13th of July, you're sitting there and you can't eat. Imagine constipation, and you're trying to heave, and you feel like you're going to pop from there.
well, I think we've had plenty of details for the moment. What's scary is if you can sit through what Yuveka and Sally have just been talking about, there's obviously a
find
lot
the
more
joy
to it. I
in
want
it.
to find out how the dads cope with this. We've heard how Sally does it. We've heard how Yuveka does it. How did the dads handle it when it came to what both ladies were talking about? We'll come back to them in a moment for more on that. I think we're going to go to a quick ad break at the moment. So stay with us here on Great Expectations on ETV. As a guy, I'm curious to know how we get involved, and more gory details, I'm sure, when we come back. But we need to talk about it, of course. We'll see you in a moment. I'm Gareth Edwards, and I've just been pranked.
No more. eNCA.com